Hi, Peter. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
It's a pleasure being here.
Well, you're all about time management, and I need to talk to you. Tell me how to do it.
Tell you how to do it. Well, most people want more time, and the problem is we have all there is. So what do? Well, you make the best of the time that you have, and one key is setting priorities. And the problem is a lot of people set priorities, but everything is top priority. So what do you do in that case? And sometimes we have a long-term priority, but little things keep coming up and we never have time for it, or we're interrupted, or we get sidetracked, and it can be very frustrating for a lot of people and stressful for them. And so what I do is I go into corporations and associations, and I lead workshops and seminars and show people how to get the important things done in less time with less effort, and maybe go home a little bit earlier and have higher quality time at home.
Well, give us some of your tips.
Well, for example, a lot of people complain, and I ask people, how many of you have a day where you work hard all day long, and near the end of the day you think, boy, I've worked hard, but I haven't done anything significant yet. What's gone wrong? And I tell them, you got sidetracked, right? Yeah, we get sidetracked, interruptions, and got on a tangent. So here's what I tell people to do. Define your KRA. That stands for your key result area. For example, in your job, what were you hired to do? And everyone has at least one KRA, key result area. If you're a support person, the key result area of your job is to support other people in achieving their KRA. If you're in charge of a project, your true KRA is to have the successful outcome of that project, whatever that is. If you're a manager, then maybe you have a couple layers, the project and maybe managing the team that's working on the project. So what I tell people to do is get out a Post-it note. First we have a classroom exercise in honing down the KRA so that you have one clear statement that is on the right hierarchy. So anything that comes at you during the day, you ask yourself, is what I am about to do going to contribute to the KRA, to this key result area of my job that I am really trying to accomplish? And if it doesn't really make a contribution, maybe it's a tangent. Then I tell people, write that statement on a Post-it note, put it in front of you, and every day while you're working, look at it before you start to do anything new, and then ask, is what I am about to do going to make a contribution to the KRA? And I also tell people, move the Post-it note around every day or two, because after a while it becomes invisible to you, but you need to keep it in mind. So that's one way to set priorities, or at least know what your true top priority could be. And there are other ways. If you want, I can get into those as well.
Well, sure. Give us some more tips.
Well, I'll give a right brain approach. This is for the creative right brain person who thinks outside the box. I call it back casting, back from the future, looking back from the future. So what you do, and you can try this right now. You pretend it's 3 years from now, and you're having the time of your life. Everything's working well. Let's say in your job, you go, I am so successful. Everything's going great. This is as good as I can imagine. Or you could try it on a bigger scale at the end of your life. You're saying, oh, I had the greatest life. I have no regrets. And then what you do is you ask yourself, well, if this really were to happen, what significant events would have had to have occurred for me to be in this situation right now? So you're kind of thinking outside the box. You're not forecasting. If I keep working hard, here's where I'll be. You just ignore that. You say, where do I want to be? And then what events would have had to have happened for me to arrive in this situation? So that's a different way of thinking for most people. And, if you win the rat race, you're still a rat, so that's the big question. Is this the right race I want to be in? And then another style is what I call left brain thinking, very calculating, analytical, and this appeals to, maybe more the technical mind. You just calculate maybe two priorities you want to do. You say, what's the best case scenario if I accomplish this? What's the best one for this one? Maybe project A or B. Well, maybe they're both good. Then you say, well, what's the worst case if I neglect this or neglect this? Maybe you want to go skydiving. You say, best case, I'm thrilled. It's a wonderful experience, a lot of adrenaline. Worst case, pretty bad. You die. But then you say, well, what are the probabilities of the worst case happening? And if, the probabilities of dying in skydiving aren't that great, so you say, I'm willing to risk it to have a shot at the best thing that could happen, which is so thrilling. So that's one way. It's a different way to set priorities. But it's more analytical. And then you just say, well, return on invested time might be a little shortcut that a lot of people use. What gives you the highest return for the time you invest?
Let me give you an example of something I do.
Okay.
I always write down the 10 most important things I need to do for the day.
Uh-huh.
And always the 2 things that I hate doing the most are at the end, and they never get done. I'm a procrastinator.
Okay.
So tell me what I should do.
Mark Twain has, I think, the best advice on overcoming procrastination. He says, having to do an unpleasant job is like having to kiss a frog. It's a wonderful word picture, and his advice is simple. If you do have to kiss a frog, don't look at it too long. So just do it, get it over with. So think of some awful thing you really need to do and just do it, and the rest of your day is going to go so much easier.
Well, it's funny you say that because even though I procrastinate, you worry about that one thing over and over and over. So your mind is going there all day long, so you're not putting your fullness into the things you need to get done.
It's like you're kissing the frog all day instead of just for a few minutes. If you enjoy suffering, that's fine, but if you don't, get it over with and move on.
A wise person told me one day, do not let that thing live rent-free in your head.
That's good, yes. Yeah, it's the unfinished task. A time management problem that most people don't realize, if I say, list your major time management problems, people say, too much to do, not enough time, shifting priorities, tight deadlines, but kind of a unrecognized time management problem is incompletions. The stuff that's living in your head is the stuff that wears you out, the incomplete task. At the end of the day, the stuff you cross off your list has energized you. It's the stuff you didn't get to that kind of wears you down. So I tell people, it's important to plan, empty your brain into a planner before you go home. So at least you have some idea. It's parked someplace. You have some sort of a plan for what you're going to do.
Now tell me about who are some of your mentors that have helped you along the way?
Oh, I had a lot of mentors. They were space scientists. I used to work at NASA designing rockets. I worked in the early days of the space program on the Saturn V rocket on the Apollo program. And I was not particularly good in time management. And so I had a lot of very good space scientists that were so much better at it than I. And I started watching what they were doing, and I'd take some of them to lunch, and I'd say, could I interview you? How come you're going home before I am, and you're more productive than I am? Or you have a clean desk, mine is messy. What are you doing differently? What do you know that I don't know? And they gave me a lot of good tips and tricks, and I collected ideas from the best of the best. And it really started a lifelong fascination with time management. I love the subject. I've written books on it. I teach classes on it, because it never gets old. Really improving your time management is improving your life. It's improving the quality of your life. It's recognizing what's truly important in life. It isn't just finishing a to-do list. Is it the right to-do list for you? What are your big goals? What are your big values? What do you truly value in life? Are your priorities in alignment with your values? And then, ultimately, out of that, you'll have some goals and then things on your to-do list that really matter.
What key quality do you believe that all successful people share?
Well, I think the key quality is they've identified their true top priorities. And that will vary from person to person. It could be making a contribution to the lives of others, making a difference. For others, it's just being happy, whatever that is, and that's success to them, or raising a successful family. Others need to be number one to be successful. Others, no, they don't need to be number one. They just want to make progress or do the best that they can, and that's fulfilling to them. But whatever makes you fulfilled and it gives you some significance in life, I think is what makes you successful. So it's identifying what that is and then organizing your time so that you can achieve that.
What inspired you to help other people?
I've had a lot of help along the way, and I think it's important to give back, and part of the richness in life is helping other people. I mean, making the world a better place, and I think we all want to do that. And fortunately, I have a job where I think I'm making a major contribution to doing that, and it feels really good to be able to do that.
Tell us about your time management book.
Well, my book is Time Management Made Easy. You've got to make things easy to be successful with time management. So that's what my whole approach on time management is about, is maybe find, instead of one thing you're going to change differently in life, find 100 little things you do consistently every day and make some slight improvements in them. Your time management is a lot better. So it's finding the keys to successful time management. But not only getting the important things done, but having a good attitude as you go through the day. You know, if you go through the day and you're stressed out, but you're getting a lot done, that's not good time management. So it's learning how to get the important things done, knowing you're not going to get everything done in life. And, you know, and quit this unjustified perfectionism that so many of us have, and, you know, learn when good enough is good enough, stop, let's move on to something else, so that you have more of and keeping a balance in life and not neglecting major areas of your life. So all that's part of balanced time management, and if you do it right, time management actually can be easy if you know the right tips and tricks.
Well, tell our listeners how they can find out more about you and your book.
Well, the way they can find out is easy. Just timeman.com. I'm the Time Man on the web, so just go to timeman.com, and they can read some articles and see some little video clips that I have on my website, and learn some, I think, some valuable lessons just by some of the articles and things I have on my website.
It's been a pleasure to have you on the show today, Peter.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here.